Thanks for watching. I just wanted to do a video about something that I notice um, where if you're in a city, like there's no place, if you're a tourist and you go to, a pizza place or something like that, or stores like Whole Foods, but there's places that don't have public bathrooms, even if you're a customer there. Or, yeah. And And so what I'd notice is that if you have a pet, your dog is allowed to go to the bathroom. Like your dog can pee on the sidewalk or poop in the park or whatever, poop on the sidewalk, right? So it's like animals, a wild bird can sit on a tree and defecate or whatever. And but a human does not even have that. Like humans, um, modern humans, at least in America, do not have that possibility unless you've got like $30 to pay to go to a restaurant, or maybe $20 or something like that. And I just find it almost painful watching these animal rescue videos, or just doting pet animal videos, or um, you know wild animal videos and stuff like that. And like, of course, I enjoy some of them. Some of them are very lovely, but I find it troubling that there's this glorification of the animal, of a pet, and yet the human in your own neighborhood, like down the street, and I'm talking about Americans, born and bred Americans. I'm not talking about people who have, you know, been flown here from wherever to be a criminal UN soldier or something like that, or cabal, or cartel crime participant. What I'm talking about are Americans, you know, here that, um, even even somebody who's willing to pay $5 to get a hot dog somewhere, but there's no place to go to the bathroom. Like you have to map out, okay, is there like a local city center public bathroom, um, like make sure you're around there or whatever. Uh, like when I was in Norfolk, Virginia some years ago, and I was like, I am gonna check out the beach. And I was on the bus for 3 hours, or no, 2.5 hours, and I had to get off because I had to go to the bathroom. And it was like hours and hours and hours of a bus that was stopping like every, I mean, just it was a, I mean, I don't think it was an express bus, or maybe it was an express bus, but it was a 3 hour trip. And I never made it because I had to get off at the mall to use the bathroom. And, and I just like, how would the world be if everybody wasn't spending, you know, a year rehabbing a donkey or whatever, um, to to take care of wild animals or domestic animals, and instead they spent it on uh, like human beings in their area. And if people weren't doing like a whole redecorating of their kitchen, or rebuilding their house or something like that, or you know like all these kind of just hours and hours making their house this incredible art exhibit or something like that. Like, and instead of making your house the most incredible Times Square, like, town square kind of remarkable thing, like, imagine if people had, nice houses, but instead put their efforts towards making their city's town square beautiful, you know? Like, I just feel like, and, I guess people don't do something like making their town square beautiful because there's just so much friction. Like, people just want to get in the way. So I can understand that. But even so, like, folks just aren't taking care of the humans walking around, and they're just expecting somebody else to take care of it. And clearly, nobody's taking care of these millions of people. And it doesn't even have to be like that whacked out person on the sidewalk. It could be your relative or good buddy or something like that, that maybe could use your help more than that disabled donkey or whatever. And I was listening to the native plant talk that was recorded, I don't know, 2011 or 12. And the guy was talking about how domestic cats are killing songbirds. And he's like, domestic cats are bad for wildlife. And he said that people receive death threats for saying that. So, so these environmentalist liberals with cats wish death upon somebody who says cats kill wildlife. So, and that was in like 2011, 12, right? So it just goes to show that there's something up with certain people's, I don't know, influence, beliefs. Um, and I it's interesting. Like this environmentalist thing is very anti, um, like what's the word when you hate human beings? Antipathy, um, misanthropic. Like that's what I notice about environmentalists and PETA activists is they're so misanthropic. They hate human beings, except for like their friend, the parent that gives them money or whatever. And even so, maybe not quite. You know, it's just this. It's a mental illness, just like the whole alphabet thing and the whole burning city centers, burning down police stations. That's a mental illness thing. Saying defund the police, burn down the city hall, and calling it a peaceful thing. Like doing it is a mental illness, and calling it peaceful is a mental illness. And it's just there's this viral mental illness that's taken hold of our country. And what I don't get is how like the intelligent liberal people, like the people in my family and friends who otherwise are they understand cause and effect. Um, but how do they think that it's going to end up? Like when the fundamental experience of the heritage human is erased? Because the interesting thing is folks are like, oh, I'm going to get my solar panels and my electric car. I'm going to save the planet. Like those things are hard. Like those things are built on slave labor, child slave labor, like currently child slave labor in Africa. And it's so weird because these people are like, Black Lives Matter, but it's okay if I exploit child slaves in Africa. Like it's insane. It's complete utter hypocrisy, which the Bible predicted. Uh, so, anyways, folks, keep your heritage. Um, I know it's like cool and hip. Like, why? So I go to the library, look at the bulletin boards, and like I don't know, there's like 5 different events, maybe more, posters, flyers, and they're all talking about somebody's like sexual activity as an identity. Now, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, that wasn't how you like interacted with everybody every day and posted flyers about all the time and was defensive and aggressive about it. Unless you were one of these kind of weirdos, that people just humored, um, who were like a caricature, who would like talk all like Queenie and stuff like that. But people like they didn't take it seriously. They were just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this crap. It was just crap. They didn't want to deal with it. It was a pile of poop that they didn't want to step in. But it wasn't anything they valued or used as compost, let's say. Um, So, anyways, folks, don't get hypnotized into this extinction of your experience, your birthright to be a human being, to be a human being with your heritage. With the human experience that your parents had and your grandparents had. And like I said, being able to walk, nature and nice farm or a garden or on a boat or something like that. Um, like as well as just other parts of human experience. Like keep it. And like we're all, you know, oh, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence or video games or on psychiatric meds or recreational, and these are all things, you know, like for a moment, if you have a bad night or something, a bad experience, you know, I think like certain substances was helpful. It saved somebody's life just using it that one time. But people are using what's to be used like one time in your entire life. They're using it every day, multiple times a day, and it's making them crazy. As we can see with media posted, or even just seeing when people are driving or when you're at the store. All these like airplane rage videos. So, like, don't be like seduced or hypnotized into avoiding the actual really nice things about being a human being, just walking around in nature, listening to the birds, or playing a musical instrument, or reading a book, or having fun with your friends, or enjoyable memories, creating memories with your family, or whatever. Whatever. In the comments section, if you want to add more ideas of what's nice about the human experience outside of like video games and drugs and kind of dissociating, because that's what's going on, is like our culture is numbing itself out, and we've got all these amazing tools and technology and quality of life, but everybody's numbing themselves out. Like that's very telling. So don't let your human experience be brought to extinction. Like, you know, what's the most valuable part of your human experience? Is it playing a musical instrument? Is it going hiking in the mountains? Is it going fishing? You know, and other things that, like, I try to keep this G rated, but not to encourage that, but between a husband and a wife, I think there's a reason why that exists. So, anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. Thanks for watching. God bless.